I don't know, do you want to ping the network thing a little bit, that network, and just kind of see how that's set up? Or even security and user permissions is kind of a handy thing. Yeah, so you can see you have your, oh,
Sorry, too fast.
no, that's okay. Okay, when we look at it, you just designate your IP address for the system, just like you would anything else, where the gateway is, tell it where all that stuff is. And once you have that mapped out, it's ready to go. I mean, if you're a network person, to a civilian like me, this looks like wizardry. But I think to a network person, when you start looking at it, it's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty clean interface, easy to walk your way through and understand what it is. And I think you can set up, you can set up different layers of security on it as well. I'm not actual security features of the system, but
under port, does that mean it's between port 20 and 65.535, or does it use 65.535?
That
I don't know that either yet.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
To find that out. I think that the other piece that you have within the security space is the ability to do some geography related things. So if you don't want your employees calling, Eastern Bloc countries, if you don't want them calling hackers in Uzbekistan, you can stop them from doing that. You can isolate those things out.
Which is another great feature, because the company I previously worked for, we ran into a problem where people were getting calls from, call it Trinidad, I don't remember where exactly, and they had their own phone company, and when you called them, it was $100 a minute when you called. So of course you spent a minute or two on hold, and we were getting these huge bills. And eventually figured out how to block that.
Well, in a past life, an organization that started with a finger and ended with a hut had a situation where people were running their own phone. I don't know if I want to say phone company, but they'd dial up an international number, they'd leave the line open, and then people would be able to get on that line and talk to their whatever in another country. Well, if Finger Hut, we would take 200,000. I mean, the company that starts with Finger and ends in Hut. we take 200,000 calls a day. So our phone bills back when it was printed on paper would come in two-wheelers, full of paper, right? It kills a lot of trees when they're printing our phone bills. But point being that they would just hide that time inside that gigantic bill, right? It would just be invisible. So, being able, and when your Lucent or whatever they were at that time made the change so you could geo-fence those calls and not have them go out like that, that was a relatively big deal for companies that had enterprise systems. So being able to do that is a good, meaningful thing. And I don't know where it is specifically here, but I'd imagine you can stop things like, remote conferences and stuff, so you can't, brute force your way into the system and then make calls going out and avail those to other people. So having those types of security capabilities is important. I think the other piece too is being able to manage the QoS on the network, the quality service, so that you're given voice traffic priority, so you don't have like it mentioned on that screen, jitter and those types of things. So being able to control the quality of service across the network and give a voice package priority is an important thing as well. And I don't know, Paul, does it have the ability to do fax at all? I'm not sure about that. We should check on that piece of it for people that have that.
It has the ability to bring in analog lines.
Yeah, that's actually what I was saying, is if you needed
for some
to.
reason your internet's down but you still have an analog line, you can call out the analog line.
Yeah, you could do that as a fax or use that as a backup. I mean, that's not an unusual thing to see an analog line as a backup.